What's up, guys? It's Sad Zilla with Zilla Mode, and I have a pretty important message for you today. It's something that is really frustrating me, and I have to let loose. Artists need to stop complaining about content already. I'm so sick and tired of it. I'm so tired of hearing artists act like content is this evil thing that showed up and ruined music for them. Like somehow TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts are the reason that their career isn't moving, or the reason that everyone feels so fake now. Everything feels so fake now. Because that's not what happened. No. What happened is the attention changed. That's it. People's attention changed, not their attention span, though that may be true in some ways. But the attention was on something else. You know, artists just couldn't get over that. They couldn't get over that change. And that's what really frustrates me, because I did. I got past it and I changed. I made the change. Because like when I first started making content or solo music back in 2017, 2018, something like that, promoting music looked completely different. Okay. You would post on Instagram and maybe do like a little bit of a visual here, maybe, maybe kind of like a post like where you're talking here and there, whatever. You would run some ads. Maybe you would get reposted on some YouTube channels, maybe push on playlists, post stories on Instagram. It was very like pretty basic, rudimentary stuff, but it worked at that time. Maybe even push on playlists, as long as they weren't botted. This is before they really started honing in on that. But I mean, that was the game back then. Nobody was really sitting there talking about content the way that we do now. But let's be honest, that was the content. That was content. And it just looked different, right? I still had to do it. Everybody still had to do it. They did it. A lot of these artists did that. A lot of these artists started in 2018, 2019, 2020, before we had like the TikTok rise and all that kind of stuff. They were doing that. They didn't have a problem with that. That was fine because that's the way it worked. But when things change, now it's a problem. Now it doesn't feel authentic. Now it's fake. It's phony, and I'm selling out by doing anything that everybody else is doing, right? Because I don't want to learn a new skill, right? Like that's the part that these artists don't want to admit, because back then nobody had a problem with doing what worked for their era. No, nobody was saying, man, posting this promo visual on Instagram is just ruining my art. No, they knew that they needed to get the word out there that they had made something, right? And there was no disconnection then, but now there's a big disconnection still to this day. Like getting reposted on a YouTube channel was somehow selling out? No, but maybe to people before then that had made music before then, they go and look at that and they were like, oh, this is it's kind of sketchy, like, or this is fake, or this doesn't mean anything, and these views aren't real or whatever, because that's just the way that music was moving at that time. But they didn't want to catch on. It happens every single time. It's just like this boomer mentality that they don't want to get past. And then the game changed. People's attention, it moved, and they stopped living on these platforms in the same way. Now the attention lives in short form, and that's where people discover stuff now. That's the way that they decide whether or not they care about a song or an artist, and that's where the music spreads. And instead of accepting that, a lot of artists just get bitter. And now all of a sudden it's, I don't want to dance. I don't want to do skits. I don't want to be an influencer. I don't want to sell out. I don't want to make content to take away from my music, my precious art. And it's like, bro, like you're looking at it completely wrong. Like, content is not separate from your art. It's not separate from your music anymore. It's never been separate from your music. Just like music videos, your music video was an extension of your art. This is the extension of what a music video used to be. It's the visual side of it. It's the story that you're going to tell visually about what your music is about. And what, now you're not doing music videos because they don't work, right? They're too much money and they don't work. Usually that's what the case is. It's like, make up your mind. It used to be about the art, right? When it was music videos, but now it doesn't, and now it can't be about the art. It can't be about the art on short form content. No, that's impossible. That doesn't make any sense. Like, why should I even pay attention to that? Why should I even try that? If you at this point watching this video, if you still think that content is just some annoying extra thing sitting off to the side of your art, your precious art, then yeah, of course you're going to hate it. because you're treating it like a punishment instead of what it actually is. And what it actually is a part of the job. That's the part that people don't want to hear. They don't want to hear that it's a part of what they do. It's supposed to be a part of the art. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to make content, but don't bitch and complain about your art not finding an audience if you're not putting it out there in a digestible way. If you're not even making the effort to put it out there. Artists love to say, I want this. This is my dream. This is my career that I've always wanted, right? But the second that it requires them to communicate what they want to do in a way, or what they do in a way that people actually consume things now, it's suddenly beneath them. Now I don't know if this is actually for me, because now suddenly it's fake. Suddenly it's cringe. Suddenly it's selling out. No, you're just uncomfortable, and that's okay. It's okay to be uncomfortable. In fact, of course you're going to be uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable at first. A lot of people are uncomfortable at first when they start making content, when they start putting themselves on camera. But that's a part of learning. That's a part of growing. And a lot of these people, a lot of these artists get stuck in their ways. They get stuck in this mindset that they got everything figured out. They already learned how to make the music. They make great music. They don't have to even improve the music. It's not even about improving the music anymore. It's just, I make great music and people just refuse to listen to it. I don't know why people can't find my music without me having to make this stupid content. Maybe I need to hire somebody to make the content for me. That's another thing that I hear. It's like, but I don't have the money. It's like, what are you doing? And I think another thing that like these artists don't want to admit is that they don't even hate content. They just hate falling in public. They hate failing. They hate posting something and getting 300 views. If it got millions of views, they wouldn't care. If they would be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It worked. I got to keep on doing this because now it works. So now it makes sense to continue, right? They hate seeing other artists come in and then get it and they start really becoming successful. They hate feeling that they have naturally understood a platform that they refuse to understand. They hate feeling awkward. They hate feeling like they're behind. They hate feeling like they're beginners again. Well, get used to it. Get used to it because time's running out. Time is running out. And you need to get used to it real quick. Because not only that, you're stuck in like 2017, 2018, 2020, maybe even before then. There's going to be Gen Z kids right now that started in the TikTok era that are going to have to get used to the next thing. And they're going to have the same thing that you have, the same problems that you have, about something completely different. Whatever that may be, whatever that may look like, I don't know. But instead of admitting this problem that you obviously have, and a lot of artists have, you build up this whole fake moral argument around it, protecting the art, right? You're protecting the art. I don't want to cheapen the music. I don't want to do what everybody else is doing. Okay? Then don't. That's the point. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing. You need to still post content. You need to still post some kind of visual for your music to get the word out there. But you don't have to dance. You don't have to copy some trend. You don't have to force yourself into some style that doesn't even fit you. In fact, it probably won't fit you. You don't have to become some fake version of yourself just because short form content exists. But you do have to show up. You do have to participate. You do have to learn how to translate your music in a visual format into something that people will stop and actually care about. That part is just going to be non-negotiable. I'm sorry. Especially moving forward now. Millions of songs are getting uploaded constantly. Now with AI, it's even more. We're talking like millions and millions and millions of songs are being uploaded every single day. And so if your whole plan is to upload, cross your fingers and hope that people just magically find it on Spotify and just refuse to meet the attention where it already is, then you're going to lose. I'm sorry. That's just how it's going to happen. Because, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, what are we doing? Like, are you self-sabotaging on purpose? Is that what you're doing? Because that's what it looks like. That's what it feels like. And the thing that frustrates me the most, as if I don't come off frustrated enough at this point, these artists act like short-form content means that you have to abandon that identity. When it really should be the exact opposite. This is where you actually show what your identity is. Your music can only do so much. Especially like with AI music now coming into play, you're going to have more artists than ever. And what are they going to be able to do when it comes to the visual side? Generate some AI slop video? Probably. And where's that going to go? Maybe you might find an audience, but you know who's going to stick out? You're going to stick out with your real representation of what real music is, what you're really doing, what real art is, right? This precious art that you hold so tightly and don't want to tarnish in any way possible. That is what's going to matter the most. And you have to get used to it right now. Your content should look like you. Stop calling it content, actually. Just let's not even call it content. It's just call it a video. It's just a video, dude. It's a video. It's maybe vertical video instead of horizontal video, but it's video still. It's just video. It's a music video. Let's just call it a music video. That's what it is. And it should look like you. It should sound like you. It should feel like you. It should carry your message. It should carry your humor, your energy, your story. That's what bothers me. And that's what frustrates me, because it's like when they talk about videos, it's like some separate world that they're being forced into, like without their consent. Like it's completely separate. Dude, no, it's your brand. It's just like posting a picture, except now it's in video format. It's your message. It's just like your lyrics, except now it's on the screen. It's your world. It's just a different representation of it. It's a visual representation of it. That's it. It's not a big deal. Yeah, people act like it's a big deal, and it makes no sense. And I want people to be successful, and it's just like they're, like I said, self-sabotaging the whole process because of some imaginary problem. But I mean, like, what are we doing? Like, so you don't want to make short-form content. You don't want to make music videos. You don't want to show your face. You don't want to tell a story. You don't want to adapt to where the people's attention is, but you still want people to care. Like, how does that make any sense? Like, I really want you to ask yourself that question. How does that make sense? And that's where I start losing sympathy for you. Because at a certain point, it's not about the industry being unfair. It's not about the algorithm being evil. It's not about kids these days. It's about the fact that everybody's attention moves and you refuse to move with it. And if you're still refusing to move with it at this point in the video, you are absolutely hopeless at this point. Meanwhile, younger artists moved with it a long time ago, and they don't have all that baggage. They're finding so much success right now because they don't care. They do not care. They don't care what people think about them. They don't care about whether or not their music is mixed and mastered perfectly. They don't care about whether or not their image is perfect and they look good on camera or shitty on camera. It doesn't matter to them. They're putting their stuff out there, representing themselves as themselves, while you're hyper focusing on all the little details because you have to have everything right in order to go viral or whatever the case may be, whatever your goal may be. To them, it's just normal. To them, they're not sitting around crying about how it's being used. They're not romanticizing some old version of the internet. They're just using the tools that exist. And because of that, they pass people who are probably more talented than them all the time, but it doesn't matter. You're probably more talented than somebody that's got millions of views and millions of streams and millions of monthly listeners. But the only reason that you're not successful and they're successful is that they're actually doing something about it. They're having fun with the process. You are bitching and complaining. They're having fun. Start having fun with the process. It's not serious. It doesn't have to be serious. It doesn't have to be not art. The only difference between them and you is that they adapted faster. Or they didn't even have to adapt to anything. They just did it. You refuse to adapt. And let's just be honest, the same thing's going to happen to them. The same exact thing is going to happen to them. And they're probably going to refuse to adapt to the next thing. I just want to say that again. I want to let you know that there's going to come a time where the people that are more successful than you right now, because they know all the tools, they use the tools, and they don't care about how they look or how they're seen, they're going to care about the same things that you care about right now, and they're going to fail to the next line of people. What are you going to do then? You're going to be like even further behind. So get used to it right now. We're making a commitment right now to start making content, to start making videos. Sorry. Because like I'm saying, guys, this is not about going viral. Like I said, like I'd much rather you get thousands of views and find an audience that really cares about you and your music and your message, your story, than doing some viral trend, making up some joke that gets millions of views that doesn't mean anything to your music, it doesn't represent you. There's like a formula to going viral. It doesn't mean anything. Everybody can technically do it. Viral is not the goal, okay? The goal is connection. The goal is taking your music, your art, and connecting that to something that means something to them. There are so many people scrolling on TikTok right now looking for your music. They don't know you yet. They've never heard you yet, that they're looking for your music. You know why? Because you have a message that means something to them, that will hit them, and all it has to do is be packaged in a way that connects to them. And that's only going to be you that answers what that question is. I cannot tell you how to make content. I cannot tell you what kind of videos to make. I can make suggestions. You can hit me up. You'd be like, hey, Sad Zilla, what do you think about this idea? I'd be like, hey, that sounds like a cool idea. I heard your song. I think that would really work really well. I have conversations like this with all kinds of artists all the time. And they're pretty entertaining conversations. I really love geeking out over these things. But, that's something that you can do. You can have conversations like this and really like dive into, let me try this. Let me experiment, try this, have fun, have childlike wonder where you don't know if it's going to work, but you don't care if it works or not. You want it to succeed, but if it fails, it's fine. You learn from your mistakes and you move on. The whole point is to make mistakes and move on and learn and find something that works. Eventually it'll happen. You just have to be consistent, and you have to have the motivation to do it. Because at the end of the day, a lot of what's not going to happen is that viral moment. A lot of what can happen is you posting every single day something that represents your music, whether it's a video or a slideshow or a picture, whatever the case may be, that can hopefully connect to somebody because you're being real. It's going to happen in those little moments. It's going to happen in those 1,000 views here, 1,000 views here. Hell, even 250 views here. If you're in 250 view jail in TikTok, it can happen there. One person can find your stuff in those 250 views, and they can go add it on Spotify and listen to you and become your biggest fan. It can happen. It happens all the time, actually. You just don't hear about it. That's how audiences get built. Not by sitting on your ass and just complaining about how people don't care about your music because the industry's keeping you down and all these TikTokers are fake and, whatever the case may be. You know how many local people that are in my local area, artists, that bitch and complain about me and what I do because I get views, and somehow it's delegitimate because I'm getting views over something that is kind of silly here, silly there, whatever. Like, oh, he's not a real artist. You know when the last time they posted something on short form content about their music? Never. Rarely ever. And if they do, it fails, and then they bitch and complain and they move on. They act like, oh, it's not it's just not for me. I don't get it. And then they'll go back to whining and complaining about me and other people that I know. So my point at the end of this, I know this has been kind of a rant, and I'm just going to wrap this up pretty quick, but you just have to stop refusing to engage with the people that are waiting for you. What are we doing? What are we doing, guys? I think that's the biggest thing that you need to understand is that they are out there. They are waiting for you. Content is not beneath you. These videos are not beneath you. You are not too good for making these videos, for making this content. You're not saving your music by refusing to show up for it. You're not saving anything. The only thing you're saving is hopefully saving your money because you're not making any. This is not going to be your career if this is your mindset. I'm sorry. It's just not. Unless you have money sitting around and you can pay somebody else to do it and have somebody else have the mindset for it and can do all the work for you, go ahead. I hope it works out for you, dude. I really do. I wish I had that. That'd be sick. Be sick to have a personal assistant that just does everything for me. But is it likely? No. Is it possible? If I was rich, I guess. I got to do everything myself. I have to have the motivation to go out and record. I have to have the motivation to go over here, pull up the screen, and start recording myself. I have to have the motivation to buy the green screen in the first place and buy all this lighting to even start doing YouTube videos like this, okay? That's what you need. You need the motivation to get out there and do something about it. Because right now, all you're doing is just killing any chance that you have for success because you'd rather protect your ego than learn some new language. Okay, I guess, dude. Like, that's what you want to do because that's really what it is. It's just a new language, dude. That's all it is. The way you used Instagram back then, that's the way that I used Instagram back then. That was a language. We learned it, we used it. The way we used repost pages on YouTube and playlists and stuff, that was a language. We learned it because that's what we had to do to find an audience. But now short form content is the language, and it's going to be something else later on. But for right now, this is where everybody is. So get on it. Stop pussyfooting around it and just do it. Either learn how to speak it in your own voice, because it doesn't have to be in everybody else's voice. You just got to know what the language is, and you speak it in your way. You use your voice. It's all about what you bring to the table. That puts the control and the power in your hands. Or you just get left behind and other people will do it for you. They will succeed while you fail. Because these videos, the content, it's not the enemy, dude. It's not the enemy. Your mindset is the enemy. Anyway, let me know what you guys think down in the comments. I really want to know if you guys have any questions. I'm going to answer all of them. I know this has been a more aggressive video, but I think it's necessary for this subject because it's just like nothing's getting through to people. So I hope that this one does. And yeah, anyway, until next time, Zilla out.